everybody. So I am so proud of myself. See this beautiful thing here. This is the Street Fighter Arcade 1-Up machine that I have modded to play a lot more than just Street Fighter. As you can see here, I changed out the joystick and the buttons. I added an extra button here at the bottom for coin slots. And I'm going to boot this thing up so you can see what I've done to it, because it's pretty cool. So I did use ETA Prime's modding video to do this. As you can see here, it's running RetroPie off of a Raspberry Pi. And it's got the LED buttons that light up when you power on the machine, which I think is pretty cool. And, you know, I took out all the stock buttons and wires. They're upstairs, maybe for a future project. I've got Emulation Station running here, which allows me to pretty much run any game that I can download a ROM for. And on this particular machine, I have downloaded a 128 gig image, which I have running on an SD card, which basically allows me to play every arcade game, every Nintendo game, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Atari, name any retro system, you know, before '94. As you can see here, it's running an arcade mode. It says 2,272 games available. So let's check out some of the categories here. This is running on Emulation Station. So we've got Atari. We've got several versions of Atari. The Atari Lynx, it even plays handhelds. Select Dreamcast games, only a couple. Crazy Taxi, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, things like that. Japanese versions of Nintendo and Game Gear and Game Boy. As you can see, it's pretty comprehensive, all the things that we have available. N64 is pretty cool. The only thing is the joystick and buttons don't have an analog stick or all the extra buttons that the N64 controller has, so I can't really play I have No Mercy, but I can't really play it the way I should. I'm gonna try to install some USB plugs in here, so that way you know, we can just plug in with any type of USB controller. Regular Nintendo, Neo Geo stuff. It's pretty cool. So this is running on what's called Emulation Station, but the really cool part about it is when I put this into what's called Attract mode, because the image in particular is amazing. It has various categories. It's going to take a little bit to boot up, but it's got like really cool videos for different categories, different subcategories. It's pretty awesome. It's different loading screens every time I boot this thing up. I don't know how many loading screen it has, but it basically I haven't seen the same one twice, which I think is pretty cool. There's a little Mario and Luigi there, based on, I think, regular Mario Brothers, original Mario Brothers. So it's booting up into track mode here. So I'm going to show you some of the things that it can do. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit. Pretty much every version of Street Fighter that there ever is, ever has been, up until Street Fighter 3. Let me just show you some of the other categories. I think this is such a cool image. I don't have the time to do a video that shows every single category just because there's so many, but I do want to go into collections, because the collections is where it's at. That's the superhero collection. There's a really cool video attached with this where pretty much makes it look like Hulk and Superman are fighting each other. So many different categories. So cool. Somebody really took a lot of time and painstaking effort to really make this look awesome. I don't even play Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know nothing about it, but I think that's pretty cool that it comes with it. So there's this here. Oh. Yes, we do have mature X-rated games, which I'll have to somehow block out. Although I do need to just play the music because I think it's pretty funny. It's the I touched myself by the Divinyls. It's hilarious. Alright. So it has everything broken down into categories: 70s, 80s, 90s. 80s kind of annoyed me with this first screen just because Street Fighter came out in 91, so it really shouldn't be in this category here. You know, everything else is very much 80s here. All my games from my childhood, all in one machine that I can get to play with my son as he grows up. And I'll never understand what it is to be in a real arcade, so I brought that home. See the font there, like Saved by the Bell. Playing a Final Countdown. Pretty awesome. All of the later games that I've got on the system. It's got GoldenEye. It's got all of the other various 007 games. It even has a Barbie collection. I had no idea that there were so many Barbie games out there. That's hilarious to me. So many baseball games that I used to play as a kid, like Bases Loaded and RBI Baseball, that's all included. All the arcade games, the robot baseball games, all that. That's so cool. All of the NBA Live games. This thing's not powerful enough to play any of the Arkham games, so all of these Batmans are like original, the NES games, Batman Returns, things like that. Beat 'em ups, because there's so many classic arcade beat 'em up games like Final Fight and all that stuff. Got some Mortal Kombat in there. We got some Virtua Fighter, Tekken, obviously Street Fighter. BMX games, Bomberman, Boulder Dash, bowling. I'm not gonna go. I don't have the time to go through all these categories. I do want to just show you some of the really cool intro screens here. That's Castlevania. Chess. Who needs chess? Disney stuff. Yeah. I think this is one of the best looking images I've ever seen. All the Final Fight games together.
Jessica was kidnapped.
Check out Lego. Like, somebody really took the time to do this, and I think this is so awesome. The intro screen for Metal Slug is like really freaking awesome.
Mission start.
pretty violent, but I just think it was pretty cool the way they did this. Mortal Kombat. This goes up to 1, 2, and 3, but honestly, I'm gonna get the Mortal Kombat machine when that comes out, so I don't really need this one. Run. Of course, you gotta have Pac-Man. You have to have Pac-Man. Power Rangers. I didn't realize there were so many Power Ranger games. Of course, you have your Tetris, you have your Dr. Mario, you have other things, columns, all that stuff. I didn't realize that there were a lot of Rambo games. Usually, they're you know, done back in the 80s and 90s. There's so many things here. I think it's so cool. Show me The Simpsons. Yes, it's the Simpsons arcade game, plus all the Game Boy and all the handheld games that they had for The Simpsons. So, Sonic. Like, all these are broken into different categories, which I think is pretty cool. So, let's see what happens when you go into one of these categories. So, you see, you go in here and it gives you another list. Breaks everything down. Spider-Man games, Spider-Man, Batman and Robin, a bunch of games that just never even knew existed. Here's the old school Batman game. So I'm going to just go into one of these games so you can see that they all work, and they all have really cool splash screens for whatever system they came from. So this is, I think it's called the 128 gig image by I Died Once. I downloaded it off of Arcade Punks to put on here. So you put in a coin, hit start. And now you're playing the Genesis version of Batman. It's actually Mega Drive. So that's... And then you can back out of there, back out of these screens. Shoot 'em ups. So many different shoot 'em ups from back in the day. It even has Cody, but I can't seem to figure out what to do with it. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna sit here and just watch a movie or TV on this. You don't need that for that. So, just wanted to show everybody what I've been doing with this machine lately, because this is my masterpiece, my pride and joy now. Finally was able to master modding it. And whenever any one of you wants to play, you can just come on over. Just let me know, and we can game all night. See you guys.